recall that I had informed the House of the temporary suspension of the question time to afford the newly appointed Cabinet Secretaries time to familiarize themselves with their respective dockets. Noting the passage of time since the Cabinet Secretaries assumed their new responsibilities and following consultations with the leader of the majority party, I now wish to inform the House that we will resume question time starting tomorrow, Wednesday, 18th September 2024. In this regard, as I indicated in the notice of questions in today's order paper, the Cabinet Secretary for Education is scheduled to appear in plenary tomorrow afternoon to respond to, among other matters, the progress in implementing the commitments made during the members' Kamkunji held on Tuesday, 20th August 2024, regarding the new higher education funding model. Additionally, the Cabinet Secretary shall also address the issues of concern in the education sector, including incidents of school fires and unrest across the country, and the general safety of our learners. Particular attention shall be paid to the tragic incident at the Hillside and Darasha Academy in Nyeri County, where we unfortunately lost 21 learners. This incident represents a tragic loss to the nation, and the House must be fully apprised of its cause and the remedial measures proposed to be taken by the ministry. On behalf of the House, and indeed on my own behalf, I wish to extend our deepest condolences to the affected families. The Member of Parliament for Kieni has requested me to accord him an opportunity tomorrow to make a statement on the incident, and I'll do so. Having said that, honorable members, may I therefore request that we all stand to observe a minute of silence in honor of the young departed souls. May their souls rest in eternal peace. Thank you. Next.
Order number 3, messages.
Members, take your seats. Take the nearest seats. Order, members, take the nearest seat. Kwenya, the nearest seat. Thank you. Honorable McClap, you are out of order. Honorable members, I have a message from the Senate on the approval of a nominee for appointment to the position of Inspector General of the National Police Service. Honorable members, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 41-4, I wish to report to the House that on 21st August 2024, I received a message from the Senate regarding the approval of Mr. Douglas Kanja Kirocho for appointment to the position of Inspector General of the National Police Service. Honorable members, the message conveys that the Senate, by a resolution passed on 20th August 2024, approved the appointment of Mr. Douglas Kanja Kirocho as the Inspector General of the National Police Service. Honorable members, you recall that the approval hearings for the nominee for Inspector General of the National Police Service were conducted jointly by the relevant committees of the two houses of Parliament in line with established practice and in fulfillment of the provisions of Article 245(2)(a) of the Constitution. Accordingly, the Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security is expected to table the joint report on the vetting of the nominee this afternoon.
Consequently, the House Business Committee has scheduled the said report for consideration by the House tomorrow, Wednesday, 18 September 2024, during the morning sitting. The House is accordingly guided. Next.
Order number 4, petitions. Order number 5, papers.
Majority Leader.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I would like to lay papers on behalf of the Leader of Majority. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday, September 17th, 2024. 1. The following legal notices from the Minister of Mining, Blue Economy and Maritime Affairs. A. Legal notice number 120 of 2024 relating to the Fisheries Management and Development Safety and Quality Regulations 2024. Legal notice number 121 of 2024 relating to the Fisheries Management and Development Beach Management Unit Regulations 2024. C. Legal notice number 122 of 2024 relating to the Fisheries Management and Development Inland Fisheries Regulations 2024. Legal notice number 123 of 2024 relating to the Fisheries Management and Development Fish Levy Trust Fund Order 2024. Legal notice number 124 of 2024 relating to the Fisheries Management and Development General Regulations 2024. Legal notice number 125 of 2024 relating to the Fisheries Management and Development Marine Fisheries Regulations 2024, and H, legal notice number 127 of 2024 relating to the Fisheries Management Development Recreational Fisheries Regulations 2024. 2. Legal notice number 130 of 2024 relating to the Pest Control Products Registration Regulations 2024 and the explanatory memorandum from the Minister of Agriculture and Livestock Development. 3. Legal notice number 131 of 2024 relating to the Kenya Defence Forces Court Martials Appeals Rules 2024 and the explanatory memorandum from the Minister of Defence. 4. The proposed budget ceiling for each constituency for the financial year 2024-2025 from the National Government Constituencies Development Fund Board. 5. Honorable Speaker, reports of the Auditor General and financial statements of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund, NGCDF, for the year ended 30th June 2024 and the certificates therein in respect of the following constituencies: Belgut, Bomachoge Borabu, Borabu, Dagoretti North, Embakasi Central, Embakasi East, Embakasi North, Embakasi South, Embakasi West, Juja, Kabete, Kaloleni, Kiambu, Kikuyu, Kirinyaga Central, Konoin, Kuria West, Langata, Lari, Makadara, Nyaribari Chache, Nyaribari Masaba, Ruiru, Sigowet Soin, Wajir East, and West Mugirango. Honorable Speaker, I thank you.
Member Committee on Administration and Internal Security, Tongoyo.
Thank you so much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following papers on the table of the House today, Tuesday 17th, September 2024. Report of the Joint Committee of the National Assembly, Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security, and the Senate Standing Committee on National Security, Defense, and Foreign Relations on the vetting of Mr. Douglas Kancha Kiroche as the Inspector General of National Police Service.
Thank you. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives. Gakuya.
Yes, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to lay the following paper on the table of the House today, Tuesday, 17th September 2024. Report on the Departmental Committee on Trade, Industry and Cooperatives on the budget implementation monitoring for the FY 2022-2023 for the following state departments. Vote 1173, the State Department for Cooperatives. Vote 1174, State Department for Trade. Vote 1175, the State Department for Industry. Vote 1176, the State Department for Micro, Small and Medium Enterprises Development. And vote 117, the State Department for Investment Promotion. I beg to lay.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 6, notices of motion.
Robert Mbui.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 33(1)(c), I rise to seek leave of the House for the adjournment of the House for the purpose of discussing a definite matter of national importance regarding the implementation of the competence-based curriculum student transition. Honorable Speaker, as enactment of the CBC continues, the Pioneer CBC class is expected to transition to grade 9 commencing in January 2023. However, this transition has caused increased apprehension among parents and widespread concern on the preparedness of the education sector with regard to the transition. Of importance, Mr. Speaker, is the matter of infrastructure, which was initially to be lodged within secondary schools. However, the Presidential Working Party on Education Reforms recommended for the transition to remain in primary schools. Additionally, the practicality of putting up classrooms and other facilities like laboratories by December 2024 before the start of grade 9 lessons in January 2025 is in doubt. At present, the transition is also marred with the issue of shortage of JSS teachers, crucial to the success of the program. Honorable Speaker, it is against this background that I seek leave for adjournment of the House to discuss this matter of great national concern with a view to exploring possible solutions in order to advise the key players, stakeholders, and the country at large. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Members?
Thank you. Do you have the requisite support numbers? Thank you. Honorable Mbui, you have an overwhelming support for the motion of adjournment. Other members, Honorable Mbui, you will be allocated to move your motion at 5:30. 5:30. Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security, Tongoyo.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to give the notice of the following motion, that taking into consideration the finding of the Joint Committee on National Assembly, Departmental Committee on Administration and Internal Security, and the Senate Standing Committee on National Security, Defense and Foreign Relations, in its report on the vetting of Mr. Douglas Kanja Kiroche for the appointment as Inspector General of the National Police Service, laid on the table of the House on Tuesday, 17 September 2024, and pursuant to the provision of Section 12(1) of the National Police Service Act Cap 84 and Section 3 and 8 of the Public Appointment Act Cap 7F, this House approved the appointment of Mr. Douglas Kanja Kiroche, CBS, OGW, as the Inspector General of the National Police Service. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Chairperson, Departmental Committee on Trade, Gakuya.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to give notice of the following motion, that this House adopt the reports of the Departmental Committee on Trade, Industry Comparison on Budget Implementation, monitoring for FY 2022-2023 for the following state departments, laid on this table of this House on Tuesday, 17th September 2024. Vote 1173, the State Department for Cooperatives. Vote 1174, the State Department for Trade. Vote 1175, the State Department for Industry. Vote 1176, the State Department for Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise Department. And vote 117, the State Department for Investment Promotion. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 7, questions and statements.
Member for Saboti.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to the provision of Standing Order 44, 2C, I rise to request for a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee on Transport and Infrastructure regarding the upgrading of road networks in Saboti constituency to bitumen standards. Honorable Speaker, the road networks of Saboti constituency have been in a deplorable state for the several years, posing significant challenges to the residents and impeding socio-economic development in the region. Specifically, Kitale, Kipsongo, Kinyoro Road, that is C626, Kambimiwa, Kaptama Road, that is B13, and Babton, Endebes Road, B123, measuring approximately 79 kilometers, which are in dire need of construction and upgrading to bitumen standards. These roads, which primarily serve as routes of transportation of goods and lives, have deteriorated to a point that they are impassable during the rainy seasons, hampering the movement of the residents. Sadly, the residents' outcry for better roads has been in vain, and there is urgent need to address the state of the named roads. Honorable Speaker, it is against this backdrop that I seek a statement from the chairperson of the Department Committee on Transport and Infrastructure on the following. 1, state when the Ministry of Roads and Transport intends to undertake construction works on Kitale Kipsongo Kinyoro Road, C626, Kambimiwa Kaptama Road, B13, and Babton Endebes Road, B123 in Saboti constituency. 2, provide details on the budget allocation for construction of the roads in the financial years 2023-2024 and 2024-2025, including the contract details for works on the named roads. 3, provides details of the outstanding scope of works, schedule for commencement of the construction of the said roads projects, as well as the expected completion timelines. And lastly, explain the long-term plans by the ministry that have been put in place to ensure that Saboti constituency road network is upgraded to bitumen standards. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Chairman Rhodes, is GK in the house?
From there.
Yes, GK, 2 weeks. Give him the mic. There you are.
2 weeks is sufficient.
Thank you.
Speaker, sir.
Before I call the next honorable members, allow me to acknowledge in the public gallery the presence of Christ the King Kirwara High School from Gatanga in Muranga. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome the students and their teachers to the House of Parliament. Next, Badi Twalib.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 43.1, I wish to make a general statement regarding the untimely passing on of Hasmukh Patel, commonly referred to as Hasu, the owner of Mombasa Cement, that occurred on Monday, 29th August 2024, while he was being rushed to a private hospital in Nyali, Mombasa. Mr. Speaker, the late Hasu Patel of Mombasa Cement was my constituent. I was introduced to him in 2007 when I was a councillor by my father-in-law and former member of parliament for Changamwe constituency, the late Honorable Ramadhan Sef Kajembe, who was also a good friend of Hasu's father, the late Mzee Kanjibai. Honorable Speaker, the late Patel was the founder of one of the Kenya's biggest cement manufacturers, Mombasa Cement, through his late father, Mzee Kanjibai. He was also the director of Corrugated Sheets Limited in Kenya with his main office in my constituency in Mikindani, Jomvu constituency, as well as a Tororo Cement, which is based in Uganda. The passing on of Hasmukh Patel has robbed the people of Kenya, in particular the coast and the eastern region, where he operated his businesses, of a leader whose contribution to the county and the whole of country at large during his life will forever be treasured. Hasmukh Patel was an accomplished industrialist and a philanthropist. Honorable Speaker, through his foundation, Hasmukh Patel supported needy students across the country with scholarships. He has also sponsored various charitable causes across several industries. As a philanthropist, Hasmukh Patel championed environmental conservation, with the most notable one being an initiative where he supported the transformation of Kibarani dump site in Mombasa into a park. He also contributed to the health sector by contributing towards improving healthcare infrastructure and promoting access to healthcare for underprivileged communities, Mr. Speaker. For his efforts, Patel received the Moran of the Burning Spear MBS in 2021 and was appointed as a Kenya Chamber of Commerce and Industry Director. Honorable Speaker, his passing makes a dark moment not only for his family, Jomvu residents, and Mombasa County, but for the country at large. Kenya has lost a candid, devoted public servant, hard-working leader, and true son of Kenya who endeavored to give everything for what he believed in with great courage, tenacity, and humanity, Mr. Speaker. He always reached out to national leaders from the county to chart the course for bettering the well-being of residents of the country. Honorable Speaker, I, Honorable Badi Twali Badi, express my heartfelt condolences to the family of the late Hasmukh Patel, the entire fraternity of Mombasa County, his friends, and the country at large for the loss of a fatherly, transformative leader. May the soul of the late Hasmukh Patel rest in eternal peace. I thank you, Mr. Honorable Speaker, and Father, I seek your indulgence to allow members to stand for a minute of silence in honor of the departed Hasmukh Patel of Mombasa Cement. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. 1 minute silence. We start.
You have no authority to say that. Take your seat. Murugara. Alpha Miruka, order by the Twalib. You finished, right? I give you 1 more minute. Don't overreach yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Under your indulgence, I thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to say something on the death of my personal bodyguard, Mr. Charles Odera, which occurred on Friday following a road accident at Mikindani. Mr. Odera, he was a dedicated person to his work. I have been with him, Mr. Speaker, for 10 years, a friendly to my family, and I took him as a brother to me. I will stand with the family at all costs during this difficult moment, Mr. Speaker. He will be laid to rest on 28th of this month in Siaya County. Mr. Speaker, in conclusion to describe Odera, I want to say, diehards never die, but rest in peace. Rest in peace, my brother Odera. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Alpha Miruka. Alpha Miruka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, pursuant to this provision of Standing Order 295D, 2A, I rise to pay tribute to the former Member of Parliament for Bomachoge Chache, the late Honorable Simon Nyaundi Ogari, who passed away on Tuesday, 10th September 2024 in his home, Karen. Honorable Speaker, the late Honorable Simon Ogari was born 31st May 1956. He attended Nyansara and Mugambi Primary School for his CPE, where he excelled and proceeded to Karnotunga High School for his O and A level certificates. Okay. The Honorable Gary then proceeded to the University of Nairobi for his undergraduate degree for Bachelor's of Quantity Survey between 1977 and 1980. The late Honorable Gary began his career as a quantity surveyor, founding his own consultants and rising through the ranks to eventually serve as a chairman of Institute of Quantity Surveyor, that's IQSK. He joined politics in 2009 following his election as the member for the larger Bomachoge and later formed the Bomachoge Chache constituency. Honorable Speaker, he was a studio legislator who contributed to Parliament and its committees, and the perennially were invaluable. He served as an assistant minister for transport, information and communication, and trade on the 10th Parliament and in the 11th Parliament. He served as a member of Committee on Powers and Privilege and a member of the Departmental Committee of Public Works, Roads and Transport. His legacy of dedicated service to the people of Bomachoge in the 10th Parliament, Bomachoge Chache in the 11th Parliament, will remain a guiding example for all of us in his leadership. Honorable Speaker, on my own behalf and the people of my constituency, I wish to take this opportunity to condole with the family of the late Honorable Simon Nyaundi Ogari, his relatives and friends, and the people of Kenya at large. May his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Alpha, and may his soul rest in eternal peace. Next order. Oh, sorry. Yes, Whip. You want to be a joyrider?
Yeah. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also want to join Honorable Alpha Miruka in condoling with the family of the late Honorable Simon Ogari, who served in this House, Honorable Speaker, for 2 terms, 2 consecutive terms, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Ogari led a constituency called Bomachoge, which borders my constituency, Honorable Speaker. And in his time as a member of parliament, many people from my area, Honorable Speaker, especially those that fall within the boundary.
Order, honorable members. Maklap and Yokamkunji, you are hereby disbanded. Take your seats. Order. Order, Yegon and your team. Yegon and your team, order. I can hardly hear what the honorable member is saying.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, as I was saying, that during his time or tenure as a member of parliament, because his constituency happens to be, or the constituency that he led happens to be, very close to mine, and we actually share a very close boundary and a common school that, of course, people raise boundary issues sometimes by saying, it falls within South Mugrango, and others say it's within Bomachoge. But in his time as a member of parliament, Honorable Speaker, when disbursing bursaries, he would give people, regardless of where they came from, as long as they happen to be within that boundary jurisdiction, Honorable Speaker. Gusii region has lost a great son of the soil. Gusii region has lost a great leader. Gusii region has lost a public servant who dedicated his life for public service. And on behalf of the entire nation of Gusii and the people of South Mugrango, we say that may his soul rest in eternal peace. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Rueda. Clerk, switch off the unnecessary mics. There is one on your left.
Asante Bwana Spika, nami nichukue nafasi hii nitoe rambirambi zangu mimi na familia yangu na watu walamu kwa jumla kwa mheshimiwa aliofariki. Pia nami nichukue nafasi hii nitoe rambirambi zangu kwa familia ya Deputy Governor wa Lamu aliyefariki. Mungu aiweke roho yake pahali pema. Deputy Governor alikuwa mtu mzuri, mtu mwenye ukakamavu, na maskini ameacha familia ndogo. Mwenyezi Mungu aisaidie familia yake. Ile pengo iliyoko, Mungu aijaze ile pengo, na gavana wetu wa Lamu na watu wa Lamu County kwa jumla, Mwenyezi Mungu atupe subra na Mwenyezi Mungu atupe badali, na inshallah gavana Mungu amwezeshe afanye uamuzi wa busara. Natoa pole kwa watu wa Mpeketoni, familia na watu wote wa Lamu. Kwa niaba ya familia yangu na watu wangu wa Lamu Mashariki, tumekosa mtu muhimu, lakini Mungu anampenda zaidi. Asante.
Thank you. Next order.
Order number 8, motion, alteration of the calendar of the House.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 28.4, this House resolves to further alter its calendar as adopted on 14th February 2024 and amended on the 26th June, 25th June, 26th June, and 7th August 2024 in respect of the third part of the third session of this year, so as to 1, commence the short recess on Friday, 18th October 2024, and resume regular sittings on Tuesday, 5th November 2024. Honorable Speaker, for the benefit of members, we were briefed in the House Business Committee that we are scheduled to resume today, sit for 4 weeks, break for 2 weeks, in accordance with the calendar that was approved on 7th August, then resume for another 6 weeks. So what we have agreed in the House Business Committee is to balance so that we will sit for 5 weeks, break for 2 weeks, short recess, and resume for another 5 weeks before the long Christmas recess. And I beg to move, Honorable Speaker, and request the Honorable Robert Mbui to second.
Mr. Speaker, I second.
Order, honorable members on their feet. Take your seats. Honorable members, I propose the question, which is that pursuant to provisions of Standing Order 28-4, this House resolves to further alter its calendar as adopted on 14th February 2024 and amended on 25th June 2020, 25th June and 26th June, 7th August 2024, in respect of the third part of the third session 2024, so as to A, commence the short recess on Friday 18th October 2024, and 2, resume regular sittings on Tuesday 5th November 2024. I put the question. Honorable members, I now put the question, which is that pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order 28-4, this House resolves to further alter its calendars adopted on 14th February 2024 and amended on 25th June, 26th June, and 7th August 2024 in respect of the third part of the third session 2024, so as to 1, commence the short recess on Friday 18th October 2024, and 2, resume regular sittings on Tuesday 5th November 2024. As members of that opinion say aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Next order.
Order number 9, the Mung Beans Bill, Senate Bill number 13 of 2022. Second reading, resumption of debate.
Honorable members, this is the bill on dengue beans. It was moved and seconded. It is now open to debate. I want to believe that those on the screen are for this. Owen Bayer, are you for this? Paul Biego, are you for this? Maina Madenge, are you for this? Yes, Murugara, are you for this?
Yes, I am, and I was on the feet when actually the motion was, the bill was cut short.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I had not done a minute anyway.
The record doesn't show so.
But, sorry about that, Honorable.
How much time had you consumed?
Maybe a minute.
1 minute?
1 minute, possibly.
So you can start afresh?
I can start afresh.
Go ahead. Give on Murugara.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to oppose this bill with very good reasons, some of which are captured by the Committee on Agriculture when they actually retreated to look at the Senate bill. So, Speaker, so lastly, we were here on the 15th of August, 2024, when the bill was supposed to be debated, as it had been tabled the previous day and seconded. The morning of the 15th, we woke up to very sensational reporting by some media houses, including social media, that this bill had dangerous clauses to the farmers of dengue and that it had not undergone proper public participation. We actually looked at the bill. In as much as it has a lot that is wanting, it has not been properly drafted by the Senate. In fact, it's muddled up. It's a bill that ought to be cleaned, and it can only be cleaned if it is either rejected or massive amendments are made to it. But 2 reasons why I actually oppose this bill is because of want of public participation. mung beans, unfortunately, the name is not even suitable because any Kenyan hearing us debating on mung beans would wonder what this is. It's a lot of English which is foreign to us. Dengu is the popular name of what we know as green grams. And I think that is the proper English. But we have a new name that has come up by which we should define these beans, which is foreign to all of us. Therefore, this bill should actually be titled the Dengu Bill, so that just like most of the crops that are known to us, we would know what law we are formulating and it relates to which crop, and Kenyans out there would be able to make a follow-up of what it is that we are saying. So if we are to amend at all this bill, we should call it the Dengu Bill. Number two, from the committee observations, it is clearly noted that the Dengu beans, or the Dengu itself, is grown in some counties that are in the eastern region of the country. Those counties include Kitui, Makueni, Tharaka Nithi, Machakos, Embu, Meru, Taita Taveta, and Kirinyaga. However, it is not captured in the Senate report that this bill was actually taken to those farmers so that it can be debated under public consideration. So Kenyans, and especially the farmers in these areas, including my own area of Tharaka, in Tharaka Nithi, on the 15th of August 2024, were extremely anxious when they were told some of the provisions which are in this bill. The reporting may not have been accurate, but the information to them was that there was a law being formulated to regulate the growing of dengue in the country, but that law was not taken to them for approval, and therefore, including myself, we have been instructed to actually reject this bill. Number two, when we look at the public participation, even by the Committee on Agriculture, it was through adverts. Adverts were placed in the papers. The public did not respond, apart from a few corporations which have interest in the crop, including the research institutions. The net effect was this: we have a bill that has not undergone proper public participation. This bill should actually be withdrawn. It should actually be rejected by this House if it cannot be withdrawn, so that first and foremost we have proper public participation. Take the bill to Tharaka so that it goes round. Take the bill to Kitui County. Take it to Meru, Embu, Kirinyaga, Taita Taveta, Kitui, Machakos, and Makueni, so that citizens can actually discuss the contents of the bill. Number two, I oppose the bill because it does not seem to address the problems that bedevil this crop to the root. The Committee on Agriculture has made very important observations that the crop, in spite of being grown widely, does not fetch a lot in the market. This is because we have not had proper production, husbandry of the crop, and also the government has not given the support that is required. The net effect is, if we are to have a law on the dengue beans, or the mung beans, or whatever they are called, or whatever they are going to be called, then we must see clearly what role the government is going to play. If farmers are to be registered so that they get government help on growing this crop, the mode must be clearly set out so that there is no misinformation. Because the misinformation that is doing the rounds in the counties is that you will not be able to grow dengue unless you are registered with the county government. and that failure to register with the county government will attract a fine of not more than 1 million shillings or a prison term of 2 years or both. That may not be entirely correct from this bill, but farmers need to understand exactly why they are being called upon to actually register. We must also have clearly defined roles of those persons who actually buy dengue, and they are known as brokers. These are the people who have actually confined the growers of dengue, including those in the Raka, to penalty because they buy this crop at very cheap prices. Therefore, we must have regulations on how the pricing, the marketing, and everything else that goes with the selling of the crop is regulated. Another reason why I oppose this bill is that it has provisions regarding what the county governments are supposed to do. And those provisions are elaborate. That the county government will do this and that. The county government is prescribed to do as follows. The net effect of which is for the House of Parliament, the Senate and the National Assembly to make rules and regulations regarding county governments. I do not think this House has the power to do so because counties are devolved units and they have their own assemblies. It is those assemblies that are supposed to make laws governing what county governments do. Therefore, in as much as the Agriculture Committee has proposed elaborate amendments to the bill, I still feel this bill is not properly done. It was not properly drafted. In fact, the Senate never thought through about this bill. It appears to have been rushed, as a result of which it has found itself here when it is half-baked. We must remove that half-baking by actually returning this bill to the Senate so that they can give it a proper consideration. Once a proper bill is formulated through proper public participation and we are made to contribute to it, we will no doubt support it because the dengue crop requires a very elaborate law that is going to help us grow this crop. We are able to produce it and we are able to market it as is required. In the countries like India and the others that are cited here, the crop is actually grown in what I would term as systematic production. Here in Kenya, it is grown as ad hoc. We must bring this to an end. With those remarks, I do oppose the bill.
John Waluke, are you for this bill?
No, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm not contributing on this.
Beatrice Elachi, are you for this bill? No.
No, Speaker.
Maina Madenge, are you for this bill?
No, Honorable Speaker.
Jerry Maina, are you for this bill?
No, Speaker.
Daniel Carrido, are you for this bill?
No, Mr. Speaker.
Then get off the screen. Kuria Kimani, are you for this bill? Justice Kemei, are you for this bill? The Dengue bill. Yes. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice to the mung beans bill. Mr. Speaker, the bill, when it came from the Senate, we looked at it as a Committee of Agriculture. And indeed, the way the Honorable Murongaru puts it, we made quite a number of changes to be able to support the Senate who originated the bill. When we did this, Mr. Speaker, we recognized that mung beans, or ndengu, as is famously known in this country, is a very critical crop when it comes to food nutrition and when it comes to food self-sufficiency in this country. And given a regulatory environment that is ideal, we will be able to meet the objectives of having this crop in this country. Mr. Speaker, the issue of public participation has come in. We as a Committee of Agriculture did our level best within the confines of the time given in terms of preparation of the bill. Let me put it very clearly, Mr. Speaker, that we are not in bringing this bill to Parliament asking for the formation of another parastatal to govern the growth and marketing of mung beans. We are simply saying let's have the crop included among the scheduled crops which are being handled by the Agriculture and Food Authority in this country. That way, we will be able to make sure that the environment in which it is promoted, the environment in which it is grown, the environment in which it is marketed is governed by the laws of this country. The concerns raised by Honorable Murungaru were addressed. And we would wish that instead of us throwing away the bill, let us look at it at the committee stage and make the necessary recommendations so that this bill can be used to improve the growth of mung beans in this country. With those few remarks, Mr. Speaker, I do support and maybe ask my colleague who is in front of me to bring in the changes he so desires so that we can have this crop governed in terms of regulatory purposes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Ekomas Mutuse, are you for this bill? No.
Mr. Speaker, I can contribute.
No, you can. Are you?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for the opportunity to contribute to the mung beans bill, which is a Senate bill. Mr. Speaker, as you are aware, ndengu is majorly grown in the southeastern region of this country, Tharaka and other ASO regions. And therefore, it is an important crop in terms of the household economies of the constituents whom I represent. Mr. Speaker, principally, we support the fact that we need a legal regime to regulate the production, marketing, and value addition for mung beans rather than ndengu, so that our farmers can maximize on their farming. As you would appreciate, Mr. Speaker, currently, ndengu is neither classified as a food crop, neither is it classified as a cash crop. And for that purpose, and for the lack of a legal regime, there has never been a channel for government funds, taxpayers' money, to assist farmers in terms of how they farm, produce, market, and value add ndengu. And therefore, principally, we support this law for that particular purpose. And I would wish to agree with members who have raised concerns in terms of the possibility of levying farmers. And I know because I have discussed with farmers in my constituency. Farmers are averse that should the law pass in its current form, there will be levied monies so that growing ndengu will become a privilege of a few because it will attract levies. And rather than throwing away the bath water with the baby, I am of the opinion that we can propose amendments at the committee stage so that we cure some of these rather oppressive provisions in the Senate bill. Mr. Speaker, secondly, where I come from, our people do not farm coffee. Our people are not farming cotton as it should be. Our people are not farming tea. And therefore, essentially, there is need to have pulses, which are ndengu, peas, and others, including fruits in future, as a cash crop for that particular region. And for that reason, Mr. Speaker, I support the proposed mung beans bill with amendments. We will also be proposing at the committee stage, Mr. Speaker, that we change the title of the bill from mung beans to ndengu, because I am sure many in this country, including members of parliament, are hearing mung beans for the first time. It is a strange word. And there is no need to import words from other jurisdictions when already in Kenya we know that Ndengu is Ndengu. So we will also be proposing amendments so that it is no longer Mang Beans Bill. We'll be proposing that we call it Ndengu Bill, so that if this House so passes it, then it will be the Ndengu Act. Mr. Speaker, with that, I propose, I support, and will be proposing amendments to cure some of the oppressive provisions that have been highlighted by our people through media, and also by reading the law, realizing the issue of levies and the issue of the title. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Now there is no more. Charles Nguzia. Oh, sorry.
Thank you,
Nguzia
Mr. Speaker.
and
Mr.
Milemba.
Speaker,
You are not on the screen.
from
though.
the onset, let me say I'm supporting this bill, Mr. Speaker. But with the reservation that we need to make some amendments as put by Honorable Murugara. Mr. Speaker, let me start by thanking our Senator Kitui County who came up with this bill. And I think it was for the importance of our people, the farmers actually growing this Mang bean or Ndengu, the way we have put it, Mr. Speaker. Some of the objective actually was to promote the productivity of this crop and generate higher income for the farmers. And others was to provide for framework for the implementation of this effective marketing strategy, Mr. Speaker. With all these factors, Mr. Speaker, I have listened very carefully to one of my colleagues who actually went through it. And I concur in totality that we need more public participation in order for this bill actually to go through, Mr. Speaker. But let me put, there was a lot of negative publicity on this bill, but I urge the members actually to read what is in the bill before opposing it, because I think it is very important, Mr. Speaker. It has gone to the extent of even setting the duties of the authorities who are supposed to be here, and I have gone through them. They are keenly okay. Duties of the county executive, which is actually agriculture is an devolved function. And Mr. Speaker, I don't have much to say, but I'll be going through this bill and proposing some of the amendments which are contentious, especially the fees, levies being done on it. With those few remarks, I support.
Milemba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. From where I come from, the Mang beans are not grown. But having been a keen follower of the matters of this bill, and I was there when the bill was moved, Honorable Speaker, I want to report to you that one item I noticed about the bill when it was being moved by the Chair Agriculture, the bill itself was far much shorter.
Zengu.
Yes.
Yes.
The bill itself was far much shorter than what was later added on by the committee members in terms of proposal, amendments, and the other issues that they wanted to change on that particular bill. In fact, the committee itself had a much longer story than the bill itself. That was the first thing I noticed. Number two, Honorable Speaker, I had the privilege of sitting where you are that particular day, and I had to call one of the professionals in agriculture to ask, what are these Mang beans? Because I did not know what Mang beans were. So I was later told this was Ndengu. But later on the next day, what I noticed is that the publicity this bill had was extremely negative. And it looked like the way it was being framed, especially for those members of parliament who come from areas where these beans are grown on Ndengu, it looked like the farmers feel and know that if the bill goes through, then there will be punitive aspects to them to pay for them to grow the crop. And I noticed that there was no understanding between the people whom the bill was being made for and the bill itself per se. And therefore, it looked like there were royalties being put on the people who will be growing these ndengus. I propose that two things have to happen for the sake of a good bill and for the farmers of the Mang bills or Ndengu. That either the committee must take it up very thoroughly and do extreme total change, including the title possibly, or we take it back to the Senate so that it's properly done with public participation. Honorable Speaker, I think I take the second option. I see a situation whereby somebody knows a good idea but has not shared with the people on the ground. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Phyllis Barto, are you for this? There being no interest in further contributions, I call the mover to reply. Where is Honorable Nzengu? Why has he orphaned his own bill? Clerk. Honorable members will defer the bill to be put on the order paper for Thursday for the mover to reply. Those who have an interest, tell Honorable Nzengu to come and reply to the bill. Next order.
Order number 10, the coffee bill, Senate Bill number 10 of 2023, second reading.
Majority Leader. Owen, is it you? Dr. Mutunga, you are the one moving?
Yes, Your
Go ahead.
Honorable Chair. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand to move the coffee bill, which is the Senate Bill number 10 of 2023. Honorable Speaker, this bill was read the first time on 16th of April 2024 and subsequently committed to the Committee on Agriculture and Livestock Development for consideration. Honorable Speaker, the committee has considered this bill and invited stakeholders for public participation to submit memoranda and their comments on the bill, and the same has been captured in the revised version of the bill and will be brought to this House during the third reading. Honorable Speaker, a brief background on the coffee industry in this country. Coffee, Honorable Speaker, was first planted in Kenya upon introduction in Taita Hills at a place called Bura. That was in 1893. In 1900, coffee was planted at Voi under irrigation on trial basis. And later on, in 1904, it was planted in Kikuyu. That is how coffee found itself in the Kenyan Islands. Honorable Speaker, today, coffee is grown in 33 counties out of 47. So it's really a crop that is of socioeconomic nature in most of the counties of this country. It is grown by not less than 800,000 smallholder farmers and not less than 4,000 estates, which means it is both an estate or land scale and a small scale older crop. In the 1980s, Kenya was a leading exporter in the region on coffee. But now, coffee is number 3 in terms of our exports after tea and horticulture. There is, however, great potential for coffee to get back home as the leader crop in terms of export, because we have what it takes. We have the good soils, we have good varieties innovated by our research institutions, we have good farmers who can produce coffee, and we have the right climate. What has been missing in this country, or what has affected the coffee farmers, are the challenges that I might wish to outline, Honorable Speaker. One of the key challenges the farmers of this country face is that coffee is low income earning, despite being a high income crop. Kenyan coffee is very high standard, is of very high quality, is a preferred commodity across the globe. In fact, in most of the outlets, Kenyan coffee would find itself as a specialty crop in most of the prestigious markets. There is also delayed payment to the farmers as a challenge, and in most cases, the payments are meager. And that's one of the things that has affected the farmers of this country. The other issue, Honourable Speaker, is the mismanagement of the cooperatives through which the Kenyan farmers process their coffee. Coffee is initially taken to the primary cooperatives where the primary processing, or what is called pulping, takes place. So, the other issue that has been affecting the Kenyan farmers is the lack of direct access by the farmers themselves to the Nairobi Coffee Exchange. This is the coffee trading platform. Lack of access makes the farmers not understand exactly what happens, and therefore deals cut around there probably may impact upon them negatively. Honourable Speaker, in the initial stages, coffee have performed very well in this country. Kenya lags behind countries like Ethiopia,